going back to how he used to be, in a dark place. With 8 of Wands, Page of Wands, and 3 of Cups. Especially with 3 of Cups, his friends are very concerned about him. And I see an intervention. I see them trying to call him. I can't imagine what it's like having kids with him. Oh my gosh, I feel for Jennifer Garner. I don't mean to say, like, act like I'm better, but horror stories like this have made me wait to... Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Tarot. My name is Hailey, so grateful to have you all. Let's get right into the reading. A few quick announcements. I do have 2 memberships up available for with great many perks available for members. So if you want to join, one is $4.99, the other is $9.99. Check out the membership tab and let's get right into it. I do tell personal stories. If it's not for you, I'm not the tarot reader for you. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to start off, I'm doing 2025 half-year predictions. I can't believe it's already half of the year's gone. You know, sometimes it feels like a waste, you know, it's a lot to process that half of the year's gone. But, you know, that means we have to live every day to the fullest. Okay, so I'm going to do 2025 half-year predictions. I'm doing Hailey Bieber, Reynolds, Chris Evans, Ben Affleck, and Zoë Kravitz. There are timestamps and it's color-coded, so you can always jump ahead if you don't want to hear about a particular person. Please make sure to like the video. Please make sure you're subscribed and comment. I do reply and I do like to read your comments, but please be respectful. You know, it's very important to respect others, especially if you want respect back. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to start off with Hailey Bieber. I'm using Earth Woman Tarot. I was shuffling the cards. When I was shuffling the cards, I got like a lot of sadness. A lot of sadness. Poor thing. And she's looking so beautiful. I love her dark hair. You know, as somebody that used to be blonde for a long time, I recently went dark because I did my color palette. And she looks great. I think we have the same color palette actually. A warm autumn, they call it. So she looks very beautiful, but I see her being very sad. Very, very sad. So with 5 of Swords, wow. She's having difficulty trusting people around her. Now, I always say this is intuitive based. It's not fact based. But she's having difficulty trusting people around her. And I get the energy that she feels like she can't really trust anybody. I give her, you know, I still have empathy for everybody. Even if I don't agree with how they behave. And for some people from a distance, some people up close, I feel as though she is the kind of person to be very lost in what people think, how to behave. I think she was pressured, especially coming from a famous family. She was pressured to marry into money, to put herself last. You know, when I hear the story, when I get the energy, actually, I haven't really heard anything of her, what she spoke about her parents. I think I briefly heard a snippet in the Call Her Daddy interview. I didn't really watch it all because I thought it was boring. But just the energy that I get from her parents, you know, her mother is Brazilian and her dad is American. And when you have, as a child of immigrants, her mother is an immigrant, so I can relate. There's a certain pressure put on you. So I can only imagine how much pressure she's had from both sides of her family to be perfect, to succeed, to have children. It's a lot, you know. So I empathize with her, and I feel as though she might be going through some kind of depression. I'm not going to say it's postpartum, but it seems like her energy feels very sad. And I feel for her. I really, really do feel for her. So with 8 of Pentacles and the Sun, she's going to find her happiness through work. They did say that she just sold part of her company to, I think, Elf, I believe it is, part of Road to Elf, for $1 billion. So good for her. But this is going to change the dynamic of her relationship with Justin, because now she's going to have freedom that she didn't have before. And technically now she's the breadwinner. So this does change a lot of the dynamics, especially Justin being a Sun in Pisces. Sun in Pisces men, from what I've seen and experienced, they like to be the breadwinner. They like to kind of be the savior. They like to have the upper hand in relationships. So this is going to cause a lot of drama. It's already hanging on by a thread. This is going to give her the freedom to walk away. And I have predicted that she will leave him. He's going to start acting up, which I predicted. He's already started acting up. He's going to start acting up, and she's going to want to fight for it, but there's nothing to fight for. And, I have a very similar story. I wasn't married to him, but a similar story with a Pisces, that he started to disappear, that kind of thing, and then I broke up with him. It's a very typical Pisces thing to do. But the reason I have so much empathy for her is that he didn't come out and just say how he felt. Which, how is she supposed to know, How is she supposed to know how he feels? Because then you think, should I fight for it? Is it worth fighting for? Especially with marriage. So 4-1 with boss of the deck. When she celebrates her victories, he's not happy for her. He's kind of like a Debbie Downer, which Pisces can be. Recently I've seen the dark side. I've been reminded of the dark side of Pisces, because I had to stop being friends with a Pisces person. They can be and it reminds me, I had a very good friend who's actually famous. He was an actor and he was a Pisces. We were friends for a very long time. But he has the same energy that this recent friend has, which is very Pisces. They can play the victim a lot. They have many great qualities, Pisces. But when they're in a dark place, it gets very dark. And they don't want help, because they often tend to use substances for help, which I think is what Justin is doing. And they don't open themselves up to positivity. So let's see what she's celebrating. Okay, so she's going to focus on her house. She really wants this to work, She really, really does. And like I've said, I empathize with her, because I think that she was raised to... I think her mother went after her dad. I think her mother saw her dad. Very similar story. She wasn't as young, but I think she's been conditioned that if you want something, you go for it. Especially Sun and Sagittarius, they do that a lot, which is fine. But with people are different. You can't go after a person that much to the point that they don't want to be in the relationship anymore, and you're the only one fighting for it. So with the Chariot, Page of Swords, and Page of Cups, she's going to, especially with the Chariot, oh my gosh, I love this card. With the Chariot, she wants to focus on her home. She's going to focus on her home so much to the point that it's going to give her freedom to walk away. I see, time is fluid. I say it all the time. Time is fluid. But I see it by April of next year, she's going to have filed. She's going to file very soon. I give it 8 months. So we're in June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So February. February to April of 2026, she's going to file. Time is fluid. I'm usually accurate with the dates, sometimes not so much. But the energy is very strong, especially with this relationship and Taylor and Travis relationship. They're holding on to something that's not there anymore. So energetically, I see when it's done. But people have free will. Okay, so I'm going to move on to Ryan Reynolds. I'm going to use a good tarot for this. I love this deck. I love all my decks, honestly. This one, I'm not so crazy about. I feel bad because people work so hard on their decks, But it is what it is. I think I should use it more to like it. See what happens. Okay, Ryan Reynolds, end of 2025. Check out my It Ends With Us playlist. I've been almost spot on accurate. A lot of you have written me that, actually. Okay. So, as the Sun is Scorpio, I've said this about a lot of male Sun and Scorpios, they can be very controlling. I think Ryan controls Blake a lot. I've said that she's kind of a puppet. He tells her what to do and she memorizes it and she comes out and she's this doll-like creature that he created. And there's this story, I forgot what story it is, so if you guys can remember, please write in the comment section. But there's this story about a god who he falls in love with, she's like a mermaid, she's a sea creature, I think it might be Neptune, and he falls in love with her and he makes her into who he wants her to be. And then she develops legs and she starts to walk and she starts to be free. He doesn't like it, he gets angry. And that's who I see Blake as. I might be paraphrasing the story because when I was younger I used to really love mythology. Mythology was my thing. So I can't fully remember the story, but it was something like that. That she develops her freedom and it makes him more angry. She develops feet and legs and he just gets more and more enraged. And then he banishes her to sea because he wants to punish her for being free. And that's what I see with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. And the energy that I pick up very strongly with Ryan Reynolds is that he is so controlling. Sun and Scorpio men can be very, very controlling. I've been with one, and I think that's the last time I'll date a Sun and Scorpio, honestly. Lasted 5 months and it was enough for me to be like, yeah, never again. But I think Blake doesn't mind being controlled as long as she can get something in return. However, these kind of relationships do not last. And go back and watch my It Ends With Us video because I explain it a lot. In the beginning, people were like, oh, they have a great relationship. I said I read what the tarot tells me. That's why it's called No Lie Tarot. I don't have any biases. I don't have anything to gain. My thing is reality TV. That's what I'm invested in. But regular celebrity news, I'm not really that invested. So when I read from a pure place. And I picked up a lot of issues. I picked up her anxiety. You know, he says he has anxiety. She has more anxiety. And a lot of her anxiety, I think, stems from her being so unhappy. And not having the tools to be a regular person. Which she thought he provided for her. When in actual fact, he just uses her as a shield and as a puppet. So with the Chariot, 6 of Earth and the Empress, he's going to it's kind of like, you know, those hypnosis things. It's not funny, but it's funny because I'm just remembering Wendy Williams used to have a hypnosis umbrella. It's almost like he puts her under hypnosis and he says to her, okay, you're going to say this. And she's like, okay. And then she goes out, okay. It's very sad. It almost kind of reminds me of MK Ultra. And the connection to CIA, it's kind of alarming. Let's just say that. So it's 9 of Cups, 9 of Water in this deck. He's going to put on this, I have said this before, Ryan is going to make it seem like he's the doting husband. He's going to do like Instagram videos of him, this is my wife, and have like pictures, because people have noted, I've also seen this before, and I've noted it too, that how are you married to somebody and you think somebody else is the best person alive? The way he speaks about Hugh Jackman, it's very, very odd. So people are going, he's taking notes. I'm sure, in fact, I picked this up very strongly through the tarot, that he has trouble sleeping because he's so obsessed with his image. Very, very obsessed with his image. And he's on Instagram, on social media, on different burner accounts, looking at what people think about him, and it's eating him up. I think that's why he looks not the best, let's be honest. Because he's up all night obsessed with what people think about him. And so he's going to put on social media, my wife, my loving wife, my this, my that. He's going to keep pushing an image of how great she is, when in actual fact he's already looking for another wife. And I've predicted this before. I strongly see him leaving her for a woman, another woman, and then when he's left, she's going to say, he made me do it. So with 6 of Fire, Messenger of Earth, and High Priestess, especially with the High Priestess, I think he sees psychics and stuff like that, which a lot of people do. I mean, that's what I do, so no offense to anybody who does. But the thing about esoteric, you cannot use it for bad. Anything in life comes back to you. So, sounds cliche, but it's very, very true. The energy you put out comes back. If you're selfish, greedy, mean, vindictive, resentful, it's coming back. And it may not come back in that form, but it's coming back in some kind of form. Because that's energy, you know? So, as he puts out all this jealousy, you know, this fakeness behind closed doors, he's going to be very resentful, angry, mean. I see him being very mean. It's coming back. And when it comes back, you know, I think Blake has a better chance when she blames him of redeeming herself than he does. Because the woman he marries the new woman he marries is going to be, she's going to be younger. I see her being blonde. She's going to be like in her 20s. I see her being like 27-ish. And kind of like a bimbo type. And I don't mean to call women that. But she's going to be very... She's going to lack... Same thing with Blake. Lack the foundation to be an adult. If that makes any sense. So with 4 of Water, I see here he's almost going back and reminiscing over the times where he could control her. He wants... when the person he marries, the new woman, is going to be a mini Blake. And the reason why I believe that this relationship has lasted this long is because Blake, I've said this before in videos, hasn't really been shook by life, you know? Hasn't really been grounded by life until this. And we all have our sense of grounding. It's footing, you know, when you get your footing on the ground. We all have our sense of footing. And it happens to us, you know. I was telling a colleague who just moved here from New York that something about New York, what I love, even though she lives in New York, she kind of lives in a bubble because she has money and she's married to Reynolds. But if you live a real life in New York, it humbles you. It grounds you. And in general, there are people living, many people living, who haven't been grounded yet, especially Blake type people. They haven't been grounded by life, and they haven't been, I don't mean grounded like punished, I mean grounded like your feet on the ground. They're still walking on air. They're walking in this, oh, you know, everybody can do things for me. I don't have to, my actions don't match my consequences because I can always get out of it or have somebody get me out of it. So when she realizes that her actions mean consequences, it's going to be a big wake-up call for her. But he likes the type that doesn't have grounding. You know, like Scarlett Johansson, she's very grounded, you know. But he likes the type of woman that's not grounded, because then he can control them. So yeah, see that happening soon. The end of the year. And I see he's going to use everything through Blake, you know. We're gonna hear Blake dismissed this, Blake did that. In fact, we did hear Blake dismissed the lawsuit, and he's just going to play the doting husband. Okay, until he disappears, and then she's going to file. He's gonna be with another woman before she files. Okay, so let's do Chris Evans. I'm using the lightest tarot for this. Okay, and I've been accurate a lot about Chris Evans. Whoa. I'll explain to you what I'm saying in just a moment. But I've been accurate a lot about Chris Evans. I said he's going to do more rom-coms. He's going to come across more appealing. He's going to change his look a little bit. Be more like down to earth. Be more approachable. He has a sun in Gemini. And I have mentioned before that I think he really struggles with being accepted. Geminis really have that. You know, lots of people say, well, Geminis are two-faced. I've never experienced that. I've had wonderful experiences with Geminis. I don't know. I had like 2 colleagues in LA that were Geminis that I didn't really gel well with, but it wasn't like, I hate you. It was just like, we don't see eye to eye. It's okay. We respect each other, but you're not for me. But in dating, relationships, except for one Sagittarius, Geminis have been the best. Honestly, I feel like they've been very communicative with me. They've let me know how they felt. They've let me know if they want a relationship. They let me know if they can't, you know. So I really, really appreciated that. As somebody that likes communication, they're very good at communicating. I did say that with Chris Evans, he is going through a phase where he's afraid to announce that he is no longer with Alba. I believe that they're no longer together, but it will happen soon. I said, she's a Cancer, I believe. I said it's going to happen around her birthday. So around the summertime in the Northern Hemisphere, they're going to announce that they are no longer together. She's going to do some kind of Instagram post that's kind of like a jab. You know, Sun and Cancer, Sun of water signs, they love to do underhanded jabs at people, like passive aggressive jabs when they're angry at people. And it's going to create a lot of confusion. Fans are going to speculate, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. This summertime we will hear some news about his relationship, or lack thereof. I think they've been living separately. I've said this before. I think they've been living separately for a while, but he's afraid to break the news because he has a lot of rom-coms coming out. And if you know this, I dated a publicist, so I know it's better to sell a movie. It's better to be a part of a rom-com if you are in a romantic situation. If you are in a loving relationship, I think that's why Goldie Hawn, you know, I love her. Well, I know what I know of her. I don't know her personally, but one of the reasons why she had so many rom-coms that are successful is because people look up to her relationship. So it goes hand in hand. It might not be obvious to people, but it's subliminal, you know. Yeah, you're not going to really watch a rom-com with Tom Cruise because you know that he's not the most emotionally fulfilled in the relationship department. So in a nutshell, I said he's waiting to announce his news, right? So I got a lot of reverse cards. It's not the best sign energetically, but I see him fighting, especially being a Gemini. He's having this internal fight, and that's what Geminis are, the internal fight. And Pisces too, they also internally fight. I'm just saying that they're another sign. I'm not relating it anywhere to Pisces, but there's an internal fight he's having with, do I reveal the real me, or do I play along for money, you know? And most Geminis I've met have dated, that kind of thing. They've had that experience. Do I show people the real me, or do I go along for finances? Because a lot of Geminis believe if you are financially well off, you have to hide a part of yourself, you know? And I see that happening with him a lot. 6 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. He wants to shed this image that people think of him as being perfect, as being the all-American sweetheart. And he kind of wants to prove to people that he is human and that he has flaws. But it's almost like he's being stopped. So with Knight of Swords in reverse, the Devil in reverse, and the Temperance in reverse, he wants to show the world that he's overcome a lot. He's overcome, like everybody, you know. And this is the thing that I feel like people who look like Chris Evans, he's a good-looking man. He's not my type, but he's a good-looking guy. He seems perfect. And when you seem perfect, people look for loopholes. And I think people have been looking for loopholes in him so much, and he just wants to let it out. He just wants to tell people, look, I had substance issues. I had this. I think he stopped drinking too. A lot of Geminis. I say Sun and Geminis. If you're Sun and Gemini, Moon and Gemini, Rising Gemini, Mars and Gemini, do not drink. Do not do any substances. If you can drink, do it in small doses, just for dinner, so forth. But don't drink, because you'll become dependent on it, because you'll use it as a way to suppress your constant thoughts. I always recommend with Geminis meditation, yoga, practicing being present, because I've seen him and I'm proud of him for overcoming, but he's overcome a lot that he's kept secret because he feels as though people won't understand him. And I think that's the Gemini curse. They feel, Aquarius too, I can relate, but with signs that are different, Aquarius, Gemini, Scorpio, let go of the need to please people, to be the same as everybody else. You're not meant to be that way. Chris Evans is not meant to be simple. He's not meant to be. And I think he's tried to fit into a box, but it's time. He will do so well if he lets go of fitting into any kind of box. So 5 Pentacles in reverse again, 6 of Pentacles in reverse, and these were all upright when I started shuffling them. He's going to have to, I've said this before, I see him moving to his hometown or something. I think he might be from Texas. I have said that. Or Boston. He's got some connection to Texas and some connection to Boston. But I see him going back to both, actually, Texas and Boston. And he might even do like a documentary talking about his life, talking about how he grew up, meeting his parents, because he wants the world to get to know him and to understand him and to see he's not perfect, and he had a lot of struggles growing up, like everybody. And so when you look a certain way, people think you haven't gone through things, you haven't suffered, you haven't experienced life, and things have been easy for you. But life is not meant to be easy for anybody, and it's through our struggles that it challenges us to build and develop character. And his character is being developed big time. Big time. So I see those two things coming out very soon, like a documentary type, and then another movie, another romance type movie. I actually do want to see that movie with Dakota Fanning, not Dakota Fanning, Dakota Johnson, because I like her acting a lot. So I do want to see that, even though I'm not crazy about Pedro Pascal, but I wish him a lot of luck, and he's going to do great if he stays. All Geminis, stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Okay, so let's move on to Ben Affleck. Nice Sun and Leo. I was about to say my toxic Sun and Leo. Which is not very nice, because I don't want to be judgmental, but I just have this running joke because I work with lots of Leos, and some of them can be special. Special people. Okay, so let's see. Ben Affleck, his birthday's coming up soon. I've been accurate a lot about Ben Affleck and J-Lo. Check out my videos. I said that he wanted Jennifer Garner back. That has recently been revealed too. But let's see. Okay, I'm using the Crystal Magic Tarot for this, by the way. I know some of you really like to know my tarot decks are. Okay, so wow, interesting, very, very interesting. So I get here with the bottom of the deck being 2 of coins. Ben is going to need an intervention, because I think he started going back to how he used to be, in a dark place. With 8 of Wands, Page of Wands, and 3 of Cups, especially with 3 of Cups, his friends are very concerned about him, and I see an intervention. I see them trying to to call him. I can't imagine what it's like having kids with him. Oh my gosh, I feel for Jennifer Garner. I don't mean to say, like, act like I'm better, but horror stories like this have made me wait to have kids with somebody that is responsible. I know you can't control everything, and sometimes things look perfect, but when I see stories like this, my gosh. So I see him possibly going back to rehab, and Jennifer Garner, in fact, it's not looking good for him. By November, we're going to hear a story of him in Vegas, up to his tricks again. Man, I really, really feel for her. I really feel, and for him too, because addiction is not easy. He's having a hard time. This is the thing about Sun and Leos. A lot of Sun and Leos love the spotlight. They love to be revered. They love to talk about themselves. They love to, and Leos, I might sound like I don't like Leos. I have some wonderful Leos in my life, and I have some very toxic Leos in my life. But something that both of them have in common, they love attention. And sometimes subconsciously, they can try to get attention through negative means. So I see him playing the victim a lot. 7 of Wands, 3 of Wands, and the Empress. So that he gets Jennifer's attention. He wants her attention very, very badly. I did say this. I predicted this 2 years ago. When I did a video 2 years ago of them. I said, after J-Lo, he's going to have an aha moment and want to go back to Jennifer Garner. But she is done. When Aries, because she's a son of Aries, when Aries are done, they're done. Aries can be very, when they're in relationships, they can be so sweet, so kind, trusting, loving, nurturing. But when they're done, they're done. And she's done. He's going to profess his love for her. Even though she's in another relationship, he has this mentality that he is number one. Which I've had issues with Leos about that. Because you cannot always be number one. You cannot always outwit people. The attention doesn't always have to be on one person. But he feels like that. If he sees somebody that he likes or has respect for, and they're giving somebody else attention that he feels like he should get, he'll try to get it himself, you know? And sometimes not in the most respectful way. So, I mean, his kids are watching. I just feel for his kids so much. Seeing their father like this. Not in a good manner, but Jennifer Garner, the star. Wow, King of Coins, 5 of Cups. She was hurt by him. She got over it. Took a lot, but she has no romantic feelings for him anymore. He's gonna keep trying. He's gonna buy her gifts. He's gonna go all out, and she is so over it. It's almost like he has something to prove, you know, that, I don't know, the guy's just got a lot of issues. I don't, that's for him and his psychologist. Okay, so let's move on to last but not least. Let me use Pixel Soleil Tarot for this. Zoë Kravitz. I was accurate about her breakup with Channing Tatum. I wish her all the best. I think she's so talented. I think she's so beautiful. And I only wish her the best. Let's see. Let's clarify. She actually reminds me of my sister. I say it all the time. She reminds me a lot of my little sister. She even kind of looks like her, which is very funny. Okay. Sun in Sagittarius. Okie dokie. So I see her being very creative. I see her wearing jeans. I see her doing like well, I need to see that movie, Blink Twice. I keep saying I'm gonna watch it, and then every time I want to watch it, I'm not in the mood. You know, it requires a lot of energy. But I will watch it very, very soon because I like to support people that I respect. So I see her photographing like mosaics, stuff like that, documenting an artist. So I see her following like 6 artists. I see somebody on a skateboard. I see somebody. She wants to, and we're the same age. We're exactly the same age, 1989. It's so funny. But I see her, I say that because I feel as though when you are the same age as somebody, you're like a kindred spirit to them, you know? Like, that's how I feel about Taylor Swift. Even though I don't agree with a lot of what she does. When somebody is born in your year, I don't know, you just feel this camaraderie with them. I don't know if that makes sense. But I see her feeling like she wants to be young again. And feeling like I need to connect with my inner child. Doing a lot of healing. And through that healing, as she connects with her inner child, she wants to make, which is very sweet, she wants to be there for herself. So with King of Cups in reverse, there's a male, an older male that wants to be with her. I picked this guy up before and wants to be with her, but she is very wary. I think he's foreign, he might be French, something like that. And she's very wary. She's wary of the cultural differences, you know. But a lot of times Sagittarius end up marrying people from outside of their culture. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Or dated people. They're very open to dating different walks of life. And he's different. I think he's French. He's older. He wants to approach her. I see him looking like that guy, Monica Bellucci's ex-husband. I forgot his name. I see him looking like him. So I don't think it is him, but could be. But he looks like him. And I see him approaching her, wanting to speak to her. He's very mature. And he's going to approach her in a way that she's not used to. She's not used to people being very direct. That's something I miss about Europe. You know, I think European men are very direct. Sometimes American men can kind of play games because they don't know where they stand, but I prefer direct. And she's going to be kind of taken aback because she's going to think, he's going to send her flowers, something like that. That's just very upfront that he wants her. So 6 of Cups, 6 of Wands, I see them possibly going away together, like on a date, like a very sweet date. He's going to set up a nice date. And with the Strength card, she's going to tell him she's working on herself. And he's going to be respectful and say, you know, I will be here whenever, which is very sweet. I'll be here whenever you need me. And it's what Sagittarius need. Sagittarius need that. They need somebody who's going to be around, but not like hovering over them, because they need freedom. The Hierophant, the Magician, and the Fool. Wow. And they're going to start a beautiful life together. Wow. Wow. I'm so happy for her. I just got goosebumps. They're going to start a very beautiful life together. It's going to be very, very happy. Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, the Queen of Wands. And he's going to support her. I always say this. Actors should not be with actors unless one of the person is way older. And obviously of appropriate ages. Just because there's a competition, you know, that just doesn't go away. It's like a silent competition that's constantly in the back of each other's minds. And publicists get involved, media gets involved, you know, stuff happens that, especially if the person is also of the same culture. Especially American celebrities are just different, you know. I partially grew up in London, so I would meet a lot of celebrities, see a lot of celebrities in the street. And British celebrities are different, European celebrities are different, but American celebrities, and I'm not bashing them, there's just a certain energy and almost kind of entitlement that American celebrities have than the rest of the world. Yeah, it's very bizarre to me that they act like they're all that. There's a lot of money attached to them. it's very strange to me. So if it's somebody from, and she gives me very humble energy, she'll do very well with somebody if he is a celebrity from another country. Because I'm not saying that they're perfect, they just don't buy into the Hollywood BS. If you haven't been conditioned to buy into it, you don't buy into it, you know. And I feel like the French can be a bit jaded sometimes, but sometimes you need that jaded energy to break a facade, you know. I don't know if that makes any sense. But that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Please comment. I do love to hear your opinion. Please like the video and please make sure you're subscribed. I love you all. Take care.